thank you very much for inviting me and this distinguished panel. I think I am the least relevant and least competent person to speak or moderate on a topic like digitization, but that's something that's very close to my heart, and I've developed this interest very late in my life. And I just stepped down as CEO of my firm, Next Capital, and I think I've been thinking about what I'm going to do in future, and I have come to this conclusion that the digitization of the capital market is something that I will focus for the rest of my life, and that's where the entire passion lies. This is what I really like doing. So let me just start with our panel. Farrukh, can I start with you first?
Ji, Zarur. Thank you.
Now, Farrukh is a veteran of capital market. He has seen capital markets from various perspectives. As a CEO of one of the largest brokerage firms, and then MD of PSX, and now a very senior position in Jazz. So, Farrukh, I know you have already launched one product. You have partnered with K-Trade on where you have onboarded them, and your customers will be able to open an account. How do you think that people like Jazz will convert their digital payment initiative into digital investments? That's a big jump from digital payments to digital investments. Are you preparing? Have you planned anything? How do you intend to do that?
Ji, thank you, Najam. I think that's a really important question. In terms of, if you look at the customer journey, I mean, it can start from various ends. Ours has started from the payments and lending journey. So we have about 50 million customers on Jazz Cash, and most of them are involved either receiving money, using our QR codes to making payments at merchants, or lending. We process about 180,000 loans a day, all small loans and all obviously done digitally. That's a journey. And despite all of that, we have a very large amount of money that is in our deposit accounts from our customers, right? And there we are already offering them some savings products, but not really in the way that I think that we need to. And that's because we are also on a journey, right? We have met with many different milestones. And then one of the next ones is how do we provide better savings and better investment products? And I think it is crucially important because in Pakistan so far, most of the savings products, whether it's real estate or whether it is equity markets, have been only available to very few. And that has led to concentration of wealth, that has led to social inequality, etc. And I think it's really, really important that how do we democratize savings and investments in a country like Pakistan? And we've seen examples of that in many, many areas. There are many examples like that in India. There are China where Alipay launched what became the largest money market mutual fund with the minimum investment of $1. And you have to educate the investors. You have to take some care that it's appropriate from them. But to really have the 98% of the people not being able to participate in asset classes like equities or real estate is really a something which is a shame, really.
Just a follow-up question on this one. When you onboard, when you provide access to, say, insurance customers or capital market customers to your vast pool of customers that you have, how would you ensure that they are protected in terms of making the right decisions? So suppose if someone has come to to pay his bills, and he starts investing in either in an insurance product or in a capital market product. Have you done enough? Have you developed any awareness, or have you signed anything with your potential partners to ensure that it doesn't happen?
Yeah. So, as I was mentioning, it is a journey, and in fact, before we are working with many partners, and we'll work with more partners. We don't have any exclusivity with anyone. But in terms of before the journey started, we actually had a few 100,000 people who were trading on a portfolio basis, not live trading, but in terms of going through a training product that we had launched. And in the first instance, it is those really that we are allowing to move forward into investing in the stock market right now. But as I said, as we understand the customer behavior better, and as we will introduce more products, right? So, for example, as I said, there's fractionalization of real estate that is happening. We want to offer those kind of REITs products to our customer base. We want to offer gold. Insurance is a big growth area for us. We've actually, for another thing, we're just looking, between Jazz Cash and our Fikr-free platform, we issued about 10 million insurance policies. And these are small insurance policies. So somebody who buys, say, a railway ticket from Jazz Cash gets an option, would they like to insure that journey? So, it's not really as a saving product. Insurance, we've kept it different. So it's more event-based insurance. But in terms of savings, I think providing access to the vast majority of people to be able to maximize their savings potential and over time grow it, I think is really important. Because right now, these 50 million customers that we have, the vast majority, maybe 95% of them, were not even able to open a bank account. Yeah. Right? It's the same with Easy Paisa. So providing them that service and then taking them on both on the lending side and the saving side, and being able to provide them products for both sides of the balance sheet, I think is what is important.
James, let me ask you a couple of questions, and you can answer them in whatever order that you wish. First of all, you've had experience of international capital markets and their digital initiatives. How do you compare Pakistan with digital transformation that you have seen, or you think Pakistan is going to go through in the next few years? How do you compare Pakistan with the other markets in the peer group? The second question is, and it's a related one, what is one critical thing that Pakistan should just copy and paste to do digitization in Pakistan? And similarly, one critical error that Pakistan must not make in its digital initiative. So 2 questions.
Those are excellent questions. And I see Pakistan as basically being on par with other countries where I see the brokerage firms rolling out digital applications. I see a lot of concern about digital inclusion, because the beautiful thing about financial technology is technology brings the cost of so many things down. And by doing that, we can roll out financial services to people who previously could not afford them. We can make it possible for the industry to develop products at lower cost that they could not roll out before because it was too costly. So, this is a global phenomenon. And in just about every country I go to, including Pakistan, I see that the more forward-thinking people in the country are working on these things. So the next question is, what should Pakistan do, and most importantly, not do? And I think the important thing is to get the regulation right, in that it's very easy for regulators to go from one extreme to the other. As was in the earlier section, talking about complete laissez-faire, do anything you want, or ban anything. And indeed, we want to create an environment where technological innovators can experiment and make things work. And I see that happening with the sandbox and the forward-thinking discussions with the regulators. But the important thing is to get the regulation right, and not to just say no to all innovation, but not also to say yes to everything that comes along. But the important thing is for the regulators to focus on why we regulate financial services. We want to make sure we keep the criminals out of the business, especially the fraudsters, the people who are selling things like initial coin offerings that are complete scams. That's where the regulatory focus needs to be with new technologies. It's keeping the fraudsters out and worrying less about, well, does this check the box in the Securities Act, but instead say, okay, what are we doing to make sure that we can trust the financial markets? What are we doing to make sure that we keep the fraudsters out, that the intermediaries are protecting customers' assets? Focusing on the fundamentals is really what needs to be done. And if we focus on the fundamentals of keeping the fraudsters out, making sure the intermediaries are safe custodians of customer assets or private keys, as the case may be, and we can worry about the fine-tuning later. But we want to create an environment of innovation and an environment where people can try new things. And if we do that, we open it up to people's creativity, and then wonderful things will happen.
Okay, thank you. Rukhsana, can I just get your feedback on how is your, first of all, just briefly tell us, how is your Islamic digital banking initiative coming along? Where are you in terms of...
So you want to know what we are doing on digital...
Yeah, especially with reference to capital market. Are you planning any products for capital markets, or you're just initially will be doing just mainly banking?
If you look at when State Bank actually was granting the license to digital banks, one of the very important aspect of that license was financial inclusion. And when we talk about financial inclusion, that cannot be just happening with accepting just the deposits and opening the accounts. The part of financial inclusion is that you need to make a variety of the products available to the customer. So though it may take us around 6 months to only open the account and offer the basic product of current account and saving account to the customers. But as soon as we stabilize within 6 months, we do plan to introduce various wealth management products, and that will be capital markets. Also, these products actually include gold, these include sukuk, these include the stock market, and these include mutual funds and real estate and all. So our purpose becomes that we wouldn't be waiting for 5 to 6 years for maybe the profitability to pick up or bank getting stabilized, but rather we want to access all these opportunities to our customers as soon as possible. So within 6 months of our launch, you will see a few of our products being introduced to the customers, and sukuk and stock market would be one of them.
Yeah. Since you will be running up, an Islamic digital bank, what challenges do you see in digitization from Sharia perspective? In terms of products or in terms of business development, do you see any hurdles? Do you think Pakistan has enough products in the financial space which can be digitized fairly quickly? And is there anything that the Sharia, as a Sharia compliant institution, you might experience some problems?
Yes, definitely. When it comes to actually wealth management products, that needs to have a strong backing of Islamic product offering. Yes, there are the challenges. The most important being the gold investment. Though stock market is very easy for our customers because KMI index we just have to pick up and we have to offer that to customers. Mutual funds would be very easy because they're already structured and widely available into the market. However, when the survey was conducted by Corandas about what kind of investment products they'll prefer by the digital banks or in general by the banks, they preferred gold investment being their priority. However, if you look at the availability of the gold in Pakistan and accessibility of that gold investment for our Islamic customers is going to be very difficult, because that is actually going to be the physical trading of the purchasing and selling of the gold. It cannot be the forward purchasing and selling. So yes, there's a hurdle actually, and that is one of the very important reasons why we have to delay offering the gold product to our customer for like another year, because there's no stability, there's no availability of that product. I mean, like any time if my customer goes onto the brokers or PMEX website and to purchase that gold or invest into that gold, there would be non-availability of the product there. So yes, there are the hurdles that we are facing right now, but then we are working with PMEX, we are working with CDC, NCCPL, SECP, and they've been very kind actually in order to facilitate us and help us out about how to structure the products so that those products are easily available to the customers.
Thank you. Amir, we are all aware of Mashreq's digital expertise in the Middle East, and we are very happy to have this brand in Pakistan. I'm sure this will contribute tremendously in advancing the cause of digitization of our market. Are you planning any capital market products? I know you have already launched your in digital banking, but will you be launching capital market-based products? If yes, then what are those products?
Sure. Welcome everyone. Thank you for having us on board. So just to start with your question, I would like to give some background, like how much we have come across in our digital financial market journey. So starting with the launch of Mashreq, one of the first digital banks in the market. Then we saw the first digital insurance getting launched this year. And then also the first digital brokerage house got launched. Last year we saw the first digital AMC getting launched. So we're seeing a lot of progression towards the digital side. The question you asked about the capital markets. So again, Mashreq has a lot of expertise in this area where we offer a lot of accessibility and transparency when you're trading in global markets. So right now in the Mashreq UAE app, you can access more than 36 markets over there, and they offer innovative solutions like thematic investments. So they are based on certain themes like what are the future cars, what are the robotics, what is AI, so those sort of themes. So what we are doing right now is seeing how we can build in those expertise and bring it to Pakistan. And we'll start with the capital markets where equity potentially is one area where we can explore and see how we can bring that ease of trading to your applications. In Mashreq, you can open an account with $1 and you can open it instantly and easily you can move funds back and forth. So it's more about the experience where we're focused and we want to bring in that expertise into Pakistan.
Will you be interested in digital lending to capital market-based products like lending against corporate bonds or against shares? Have you planned anything yet? Will you consider it?
So we're exploring options as far as the digital lending space is concerned. Right now, again, it's about building the mechanism where you have this UI EX experience where it's very user-friendly. Right now, when I see some of the local trading apps, they have this similar sort of user experience. So what we want to enhance is how we can bring it on a banking platform where you can have a one-house solution for everything over there. So we're working on those areas.
Thank you. James and Farrukh, can I ask you this question? You can answer. One part of the digital journey that the world is experiencing is gamification. Every product is being gamified. How do you think one can avoid the speculative activity that surrounds digital transformation?
So the question is, how can we avoid the speculative excess that can occur around digital transformation? And that is a hard question because when you look at the history of financial markets, It's the history of crowds of people getting carried away. And this is, I can tell very colorful stories about things like the South Seas bubble and everything else. But whenever there's a new technology, people tend to get really excited about it. And that part is human nature. And so that is, basically a challenge. Now, but at what point does it become excess versus, normal enthusiasm? At what point do we have irrational exuberance? And at what point does that cause social harm? At what point does that, distort the prices in the capital markets and starts misallocating capital investment? So there are various, techniques that can be used, but I think they need to be used with caution. For example, restrictions on, the frequency of trading activity, for example, is just one very, very crude method to, put, in some markets, you can't buy and sell on the same day. I'm not a fan of that. Also, a lot of the excessive activity is also associated with, excessive fraud or manipulation. And I think making sure to fight the, misinformation that we often see on social media is a very important part of that, because a lot of people get whipped up by something they see on Instagram or YouTube, and are shocked that they don't get rich quick by following some crazy person on YouTube. So I think that actually going after the finfluencers who are misinforming people is probably one of the important things to prevent excessive speculative froth.
Farrukh, you want to?
Oh, I think, thank you. I think there were some important points that you made there. I personally think I'm more on the laissez-faire side. I think regulations need to be there. They need to be properly enforced and implemented. But within that, I think to try and second guess how an investor should behave, there is really, I cannot judge whether it's okay for you to trade 10 times or whether it's okay for you to trade, as Warren Buffett says, that every child that should be born should only be allowed to do 10 trades in their lifetime, right? So people have lost money with both those approaches. So I think as long as you're within the regulatory sphere, if your trading is willfully manipulating price, then laws are there, regulations are there to take an action. Otherwise, if somebody wants to trade with $1,000 10 times a day, that really should be their lookout. I think we do regulatory overreach if we try and determine and influence investor behavior, or indeed even capital allocation, right? So how do you decide what is the right capital allocation? My view would be different. Trump thinks it should go into IBM. China does it in a different way. Previously, it's happened in a different way. So I think we should stay away from that and just make sure that there's a robust and clear legal and regulatory structure.
Thank you. I think because of time, I'll just stop here. In the end, I would just like to thank the Securities Exchange Commission, their entire team. They've done a wonderful job. And I really thank the chairman, Mr. Akif Saeed. He has been at the forefront of all these initiatives. And he's been a great chairman because I interact with him very, very regularly. And SECP has accomplished a lot. My final, recommendation will be that we should be holding more seminars on digitization of the capital markets, because this is where the opportunity lies. And I see a lot of prospects. This market has stayed stagnant for a while. The number of accounts have not increased. But now we have various initiatives. Jazz has done a tremendous, by partnering with K-Trade. I think they've shown what capital market can do in terms of opening accounts. I would encourage Securities Exchange Commission to come up with a regulatory structure which is digitization friendly. And let's have these seminars, very frequently, especially on digitization. So thank you very much.